Have you ever felt like God has completely forgotten about you? Like you're standing in the middle of a crowded room, screaming at the top of your lungs, but no one even turns their head to look at you? It is a heavy, suffocating kind of silence. You pray, you wait, you do everything right, and yet, nothing changes. The world keeps spinning around you. You watch as people keep living their blessed lives, celebrating milestones, posting their victories, and moving forward with ease, while you are just left behind, entirely invisible. The silence in your prayer life feels like a physical weight pressing down on your chest. You know the exact feeling of lying awake at 2 in the morning, staring up at a dark bedroom ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the house, and wondering if your prayers are just bouncing right back down at you. You wonder if your tears are just watering the floorboards. If you are carrying that crushing weight today, if you are exhausted from trying to hold on to a faith that feels like slipping sand, I want you to stop whatever you are doing and listen closely. You are not the first person to stand in this agonizing void. Picture the harsh, unforgiving heat of an ancient Middle Eastern desert beating down on a woman who has absolutely nothing left. Her name is Hagar. She is far from her homeland of Egypt, completely exhausted, and carrying a child she never asked to bear. She has just been cast out, discarded by the very people, Abraham and Sarah, who were supposed to protect her, provide for her, and treat her with dignity. Instead, she was used to fix their problem, and when she became an inconvenience, she was thrown away. Imagine the hot, abrasive wind whipping against her face, the dust swirling around her tired feet, and the dry, cracking earth beneath her sandals. The wilderness of Beersheba is a terrifying, desolate place. The midday sun is a relentless fire in the sky, baking the moisture right out of her skin. She is out of water. The leather skin Abraham gave her has run completely dry, hanging uselessly from her shoulder. She is out of hope. The cries of her young son have turned from loud, desperate wails into weak, raspy whimpers. She places her dying boy under the meager, skeletal shade of a scrubby desert bush because the agony of her helplessness is too great. She cannot bear to watch him take his last breath. So she walks away, about a bowshot's distance, collapsing into the hot dirt to weep bitterly. Her tears leave muddy tracks in the dust. Hagar is the ultimate picture of someone who has been used, abused, and thrown away like trash. She is a foreigner, a slave, a woman without rights, without a defender, and seemingly without a future. She is entirely invisible to the world. Maybe you have felt exactly what Hagar felt in that barren wasteland. Perhaps you are sitting in your own kind of desert right now, feeling entirely discarded by people you trusted with your heart. Maybe you were loyal to a company that laid you off without a second thought. Perhaps you poured years into a marriage, only to be left holding the broken pieces when your spouse walked away. Or maybe you've experienced the deep, disorienting sting of being wounded by a church community, the very place you thought would be a sanctuary, turned into a place of rejection. You can feel the emotional thirst, the absolute depletion of your resources. You have placed your hopes under a shrinking shadow, walked away, and prepared for them to die. But in that blistering desert, heaven invades the silence. God hears the boy crying. The angel of God calls to Hagar from heaven and says, "What is the matter? Hagar, do not be afraid." God opens her eyes, and suddenly she sees a well of water. Earlier in her life, In a similar wilderness flight, she gave God a name that stands as a beacon for you today. Lais El Roy, the God who sees me. He did not just look past her, he saw the depths of her misery, her abuse, and her exact location in the wasteland. Or perhaps your feeling of being forgotten isn't born out of rejection, but out of doing the exact right thing and being punished for it anyway. If so, step into the damp, suffocating darkness of an Egyptian dungeon. Feel the cold, rough-hewn stone walls. Smell the stench of mildew, sweat, and despair that hangs thick in the stagnant air. Hear the sharp, metallic clanking of bronze chains echoing down the stone corridor. This is where Joseph finds himself. He didn't end up here because he sinned. He ended up here because he showed absolute integrity. He ran from Potiphar's wife. He honored God. And his reward was a false accusation and a prison sentence. While in that dark hole, Joseph finally gets a glimmer of hope. He accurately interprets the dream of Pharaoh's chief cupbearer. Joseph makes one desperate, vulnerable plea. When all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. The cupbearer is restored to his lofty position. The sunlight hits his face. He drinks the finest wine. He lives in luxury. And he completely, totally forgets Joseph. For 2 full years, 2 years of Joseph waking up on a hard dirt floor, 2 years of watching the meager sunlight filter through a grated window, wondering if today is the day the guards will call his name. 2 years of deafening, agonizing silence. Maybe you know the bitter taste of that exact waiting room. You did the right thing. You kept your integrity when everyone else cut corners. You served faithfully in the background while others took the credit. You forgave the person who hurt you. You honored God with your finances. You prayed for your prodigal child. And yet, you are still sitting in the dark. The months have turned into years. You watch others get the promotion, the healing, the relationship, the breakthrough, while you are left feeling like a forgotten file in the back drawer of heaven. You might be crying out, Lord, did you forget our agreement? Did you forget my faithfulness? But God had not forgotten Joseph. The silence was not a sentence of abandonment. It was a season of preparation. When the time was exactly right, God orchestrated a deliverance that took Joseph from the prison to the palace in a single day. God was working in the unseen realm, setting up a redemption story far greater than Joseph could have imagined. Consider one more soul who knew the crushing weight of being invisible. Walk into the dusty, chaotic streets of ancient Capernaum. The sun is beating down on a massive, surging crowd. The noise is deafening, people shouting, pushing, shoving, elbows jabbing, all trying to get a glimpse of Jesus. In the middle of this suffocating mob is a woman who has been bleeding for 12 long years. Feel the absolute exhaustion in her fragile bones. She has spent every penny she owned on doctors, only to grow worse. She is medically ruined, financially bankrupt, and socially dead. Because of her condition, the religious law declares her ceremonially unclean. For 12 years, she hasn't been allowed to enter the temple. For 12 years, she hasn't felt the warm embrace of a friend or the comforting touch of a family member. She is a ghost living among the breathing. She is the outcast of all outcasts. But she sees Jesus. She drops to her hands and knees, crawling through the dirt, dodging the trampling sandals of the crowd. She reaches out a trembling, calloused hand and brushes the very fringe of his garment. Instantly, Her bleeding stops. She tries to slip away, to remain invisible, because invisible is all she knows how to be. But Jesus stops. He stops the entire procession. He ignores the important synagogue ruler waiting for him. He looks through the sea of faces, and he calls her out. Not to punish her, not to shame her, but to look her in the eyes, to call her daughter, and to restore her dignity in front of the very community that had shunned her. Maybe you are crawling through the dirt today, feeling unclean, unworthy, and entirely unnoticed by the masses. You might think your pain is too small for God to care about, or your past is too messy for Him to look upon. You might feel like you are just one insignificant face in a sea of billions, wondering how the creator of the galaxies could possibly have the time or the inclination to focus on your specific, quiet agony. But the God of Hagar, the God of Joseph, and the God of the bleeding woman is the exact same God who is looking at you right now. He is El Roy. He doesn't just glance in your general direction. He gazes upon you with fierce, intentional, and unconditional love. He sees the tears you cry in the shower where no one else can hear you. He sees the quiet sacrifices you make for your family that go completely unthanked. He sees the chronic pain that you mask behind a brave smile every time you walk out the front door. He sees the devastating loneliness that settles over you when the house goes quiet at night. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. The silence you are experiencing right now is not the silence of God's absence. It is the quietness of His deep, meticulous work behind the scenes. Just because you cannot see the hand of God does not mean He has removed it from your life. Take a deep breath. Lift your head. You don't have to scream at the top of your lungs to get His attention. He is already sitting with you in the dust, standing with you in the fire, and weeping with you in the waiting. He knows your name. He knows your exact address in the wilderness. And at the perfect time, He will open your eyes to the well of water He has prepared just for you.